video. Uh, I'm talking about Mali today. The had gone live earlier, and I think something is up either with my microphone or the phone itself. Anyway, how are you guys doing? I read an article this morning, a really heartbreaking article, depending on who you ask. First, I think what the article is trying to drive home is that Mali is not safe yet. I talked about Burkina Faso yesterday, and sadly, it's still not safe, especially for people who are traveling, especially you Americans. If you want to go to those places, make sure you do your research and be safe, because it's not really safe. It's the countries are still you know battling something right now, but I'm talking about that because I read this article this morning. In Mali, there are political prisoners, right? Naturally, under a dictator, there's going to be political prisoners. Political prisoners are common on a dictatorship. You cannot oppose a dictator because their egos are very fragile. They kind of have to be babied the whole time. Give them some milk or something, because they are so fragile. They cannot take somebody just questioning their motive. That's what is happening in Mali. The president of Mali, the current dictator of Mali, is putting people in prison. Yes, it seems like there are people that are already in prison for political reasons. Maybe they questioned him, maybe they asked him. But recently there was another person that got put into prison, or something like that. What the person did was just free speech, which means there is no free speech there. What the person was saying was just giving support to the people that are in prison for political reasons, and just like giving them support that we'll still fight for you. I guess they still believe that there could be some kind of justice, some kind of rebuttal in court, so they prove their case. I don't know. So he just tweeted that and said, we're with you, we'll fight with you, and all the things. And the government put him in prison for saying all that. And they have charged him with like 4 different kinds of things that he has done. And all he did was saying he's supporting the political prisoners. And he had gone to see them in prison, visited them in prison. And that's under a dictator, that's a no-no. Because the dictator is always right and everybody else is wrong. The dictator is never wrong. No. That's for you normal people. This is the situation in Mali. First, the juntas came to power promising peace and security for the people of their countries, Mali, Burkina Faso, Niger, and there's a lot of jihadist activities going on in their countries. To be fair, they've been fighting it for a very long time, and the juntas had us believe that France was to blame in all of this. France was there as if they are helping, but they were prepping up these jihadists. And France had to be kicked out. France got kicked out, and the jihadist activities went up. And a lot of people who sympathize with the juntas are saying, France is actually paying all this. But we say that with no evidence, which is like, I guess, something that we always say to just make ourselves look clean. The truth is, France have been involved in those countries for a very long time, and we we know that, or we've been told that the reason why these countries were not progressing was because France was taking resources from these countries, natural resources, and these countries are rich of gold and all the things that France want. So France was taking these things pretty much for free. And the juntas came to power, kicked out France. I would have hoped that by now we already know how much was France taking and what are we doing about it. Because if you're going to accuse somebody of stealing your resources, I think by now you should have paper trails. And before people were saying, we cannot know how much they are taking because they put puppets, political puppets in those positions, so there won't be any evidence or whatever to say, oh, this country has been taking our minerals. I'm like, okay, if we're gonna blame France, right now we have juntas in those positions. I think it's time the figures come out like, yo, guys, here's a paper. This person authorized that France take this much minerals and France didn't pay this much, or they were taking this much for free. We need those things. And we can take France to court, whatever, criminal court. Oh, wait. Now we can't because this country wants to not be involved with the international criminal courts. So, like, what are we doing to get our resources that were allegedly stolen from the continent, from these countries? And people are talking lots and lots of figures, billions and billions of dollars worth of minerals stolen by France. I would have hoped that the juntas would do the due diligence and follow the laws and make sure that they bring France to justice. But it has not happened, and these juntas have been in power almost 5 years now, and they have not presented any sort of legal thing with France to say, pay us back the money that you stole. And now I think France might not have been taking those things, because if they have been, I'm angry that nobody's doing anything about it. Anyway, back to the Malian junta. It seems like the movement between Senegal and Mali is restricted by bandits, jihadists, and the government has no control over the situation, where the citizens of this country cannot travel between using different kind of roads because it's not safe. So that is the situation right now. That is what the people are facing. Security is not. I'm talking about Malian junta. People don't like me talking about these juntas because they are doing a really good job, they say. I know, but we cannot hold France accountable. I'm not a lawyer, but I know to hold somebody accountable, you have to prove that they stole something. We can't just say they have stolen something. Some of these things, they have paper trails and people authorizing these things to come in and outside the country. So in order for us to hold France accountable for anything, there has to be some kind of evidence that we bring forth and say, France, pay us for this thing that you took. But you would think if people were so against what France did to them, like people are alleging that, seriously, you need to read up to Haiti. I know, like, listen, I have heard about the Haiti situation, and I think with the Haiti situation is different. They have evidence to bring France to the criminal justice, report the case to the criminal courts, and let France stand trial. Let them say Like recently, France took their former president, former prime minister, former president to court for getting sponsored by, for sponsoring the elections in France. Let's see, it's the mirror for the whole colonizer world. Listen, this countries of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger allege that France have been taking minerals to as late as 2020 before the coups occurred. And I'm pretty sure there is evidence for that. And the juntas have gotten power since 2021. And to this day, we don't know at least a fraction of what was being alleged that France was taking from these countries. We only go by conspiracy theories, which is not ideal. So I think the best way to go with this is just like present all the paperwork, present how much has been stolen, and if France is refusing to pay that, hey James, if France is refusing to pay that, then we can look at them in a different light. We can't just say they stole, and we know they stole. Do we have the evidence that they stole? How much they stole? Can we take them to? There are world system diplomatic routes to bring countries who have taken advantage of other countries to court, and let's have a court date. Let everybody defend themselves. France defend themselves. And I'm not saying this because I support France or like I'm saying they didn't do anything. I'm saying like, what did they do? If you're going to accuse me of stealing something or taking advantage of something, I'm sure you have evidence of it. You have some kind of paper you can show me or show the world. But from what we have seen, none of that has been said against France. So the longer they wait, France is gonna go scot-free. That's what I'm saying. And the thing is that people like to say, every time you kind of bring common sense to a situation, people always point out that, you know, you are like in bed with the colonizer, sell out, whatever. But I am for Africa. My content is for Africa. Yeah, I mean, that's true. I agree with what you're saying. The 11th, I agree with you. They have stolen for years. And I don't know if you know this, there was a program, I forget if it's Ghana or Benin, one of those countries. They were taking some of the artifacts that were stolen from their countries back to their countries from the UK or something. I don't know if I've said that. Some of those things were displayed in the museums and stuff, so they have been taking them back. This is what happens when you hold people accountable. You show them that they stole something from you and you're gonna take it back because it's yours. And they know they stole it. But if you don't hold them accountable, if you don't do anything about what they have taken from you, and you just kind of say it in a conspiracy theoretic way, then you're not going to get paid back. I think these rich countries can pay back if you can point out, oh, this is taken. And if they can't pay back, then there are procedures that you can take diplomatically to hold them accountable. What I'm worried is that people will just use this and say, you know, we've been exploited. I'm going to use that narrative talk of saying, you know, they stole from us. They are the ones who are wrong. And while you put your people in prison, You kick out that country from your country. No diplomatic relationship anymore with many other countries that don't support your statements. And you paint the other guy as the bad person. While people at your own home, the promises that you gave them of security, they are not happening. And the people that you said they were wrong, they were taking your things, are no longer in your country. Now you have nothing to stand on. That's why I'm saying, like, if we are not careful with these juntas that are being praised every day, this is going to continue. The African people are going to suffer. And every time you want to bring up, like, yo, I'm suffering here, what's happening? Somebody's just going to say, well, France stole from us. Okay, but I'm suffering now and France is not here. Like, I'm not saying France didn't steal. I'm not saying France didn't take advantage of these countries. I'm just saying, like, there is evidence. If you say they have been taking from your country from as late as 2020, there should be some kind of evidence somewhere where somebody had authorized a load of gold to go to France or something. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not saying they didn't take it. I'm saying, like, now you are in power to show us. You are in power to now you are in power to do that research. You are in the office that the people that you used to say they are, what do you call it, sellouts, are where or stood and had dinners there and signed and hosted delegates there. Now you have the power to show us the paper trail. France stole this. We have the evidence. We're gonna take it back, or they're gonna pay us because maybe they used it already if it's uranium. But these guys are not doing that. They're just counting on the people to point France with their fingers forever. So this is what is going on in these countries, and there are political prisoners now in Mali, and they're still going to be political prisoners because people are not going to be happy for a long time. People cannot pretend. We outside of these countries can pretend that everything is okay, but you know everything is okay when you live in Mali and you can go to Senegal without having to go to Togo first. That's the problem. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this. I will see you guys on the other side. Thank you so much, the 11th Gate.